All right, there we go.
Black Friday, all the way. We are here to make it the best day with the great marketing master, John Limbacher.
That's classic. All right. Well, you are right. We are upon Black Friday. It is coming up next week. Hopefully you guys are preparing for it, getting ready. We've kind of the whole Black Friday thing and everything leading up to it. I feel we have just beaten that horse to death. The whole big idea, all of that stuff leading up to traffic. I think, like I said, we've covered it over and over and over. What we haven't really talked a lot about, though, is traffic sources, where to get the traffic, all of that kind of stuff. So I want to cover that today. We kind of mentioned solo ads last week, and I want to kind of get into that and cover how solo ads work and basically any traffic source. But here's something I want you guys to know. Email marketing is really, really powerful, and that's what solo ads are. You've probably heard for years and years that the money's in the list. You've got to build a list, all of that stuff. There is truth to that, and then there's not truth to that. Yes, there's absolutely money in your list. I can guarantee you that. But if you don't know how to get it out, it doesn't matter. So that's where email comes in. If you're not communicating through email with your list, you're not going to ever get any money out of it. So the money's in the list, but it might just stay there. What you want to do is you want to extract the money out of the list and put it in your pocket. So conversion, it's all about conversion. Whenever you're talking about any kind of offer or anything, and I'm going to gear today more specifically toward email, toward the solo emails. And if you've got an email list yourself, that's great. It's the same thing. Same principles apply. When you're running traffic, it's all about numbers, right? It's about how many eyeballs you can get on something, how many times you can get somebody to interact with it, all that. So some of the metrics here and the things that you want to optimize. We've been talking about optimizing our campaigns, optimizing our big ideas, all of that. When it comes down to ads, specifically email, we're talking primarily about email here. The first thing you want to optimize is to make sure that your email gets opened. You can send 1 million emails. If they don't get open, your big idea is not ever going to get seen. So the first thing that you want to optimize there is your subject. Your subject matter in your email is the thing that is going to get clicked on to open or not. And as we know, you probably get, 1,000 emails a day, just like I do. And most of them go right in the trash immediately. You never even click on them. It's just boom, 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 right to the trash. It's the subject line. That's the only thing you've got here to get somebody to open that email. It's just like your titles. When you create your web pages and you get them in the Google search, if you have a shitty title, nobody's going to click it, right? They're never going to see your content. It's the same thing with email, but the thing that you're optimizing here is not your title, it's your subject line. So that subject line has to pull, it has to draw, it has to get opened. If it doesn't, you're dead in the water. You don't even get off the blocks. You can't even test. Nothing from there down the whole line of your funnel is null and void. You can't even test it. So that subject is incredibly important. You might want, if you're doing this new, if you're totally new to email marketing, you might want to split test your subjects. Just like when you create a Facebook ad, you split test the images, you split test the headlines, you split test the calls to action. Subjects is something that you want to split test. You want to see which ones pull, which ones get opened. Next, after that, if you get them to click or you get them to open your email, I'm going to call it a click because you usually click in your email reader, and that's an open. But that's what we're referring to if they do not see your email. So the next thing in there, this is going to be where your big idea shines. This is the actual click. So we'll call it an open and then a click. The click is your call to action inside your email. The reason they're going to click on that is going to be based on your big idea. If you're boring and you lose them here, again, they're never even going to get into your funnel. They're never going to get into your landing page. The first thing you want to do, and this depends on if this is a cold email. If you're trying to get people into your funnel, you're trying to generate leads, that's one thing. If you're trying to sell products, that's another thing. So I'm going to push products down the line a little bit. I'm going to assume here that we're building a list with the intent to dump them into a funnel and sell them something. So let's just talk about getting them to open an email, getting them to take an action, click, go to a landing page, and opt in for your freebie, for your lead magnet. So big idea is everything at this point in the game. Assume you've got a great subject line, they're opening it, they're seeing your big idea, your call to action on your big idea for the free thing. This is what you want to optimize next. So after that, after they've clicked on that, they're still in the email. Keep this in mind. Now they're going to a landing page. This is where your offer lives. Short and sweet, to the point. The whole thing, like Frank Kern has punched this in over the years. Here's what I've got. Here's what it's going to do for you. Here's what I want you to do next. Just make it completely stupid simple. Just tell them exactly what to do. That's where you're going to get your opt-in. Now you have a fighting chance to keep this lead alive until you can make a sale to them. If you blow it up to this point, it's game over. You lost your chance. You spent your money, you shot your load, and you got no joy. You've got to get them on that list. Once they're on your list, now you can communicate with them. Now you're in control. Some people are finding it difficult to get people to sign up for anything anymore. It's hard to get people to get on a list because they're on so many lists, and it's kind of like they've already played this. They've already been to this barbecue and they didn't like it. So you've got to be really good. Or there's another way to do this. You can do it with retargeting. And I know we've kind of touched on this before, but let's say, like, I know some of the guys from Digital Marketer, they're doing this. They're taking the landing page, and whether you opt in or not, sometimes they're not even asking for an opt-in. They're just hitting you with a retargeting pixel so they can follow you around with your ads. Because it's rarely about making a sale at this point in the game. It's about generating a lead. It's about getting attention, creating interest, seducing the heart, convincing the head, and then making an offer. And a lot of times that's not done in the first date. It's very, very seldom done in the first date. It's usually multiple steps. There's a whole psychology to this, taking someone on a journey. You've probably heard the customer journey. And I know a lot of the internet marketers, like Frank Kern was a perfect example of this. Mike Filsame was another one. Andy Jenkins, I believe, is the one that told them about this. He was the video guy. He was big on putting Frank Kern in a car and filming him talking while he was driving. The psychology behind this was you felt like you were in the car with Frank and he was taking you on a journey. You were actually traveling with him. And it was a very intimate feeling being in his car. And it created that bond. It created, wow, I know this guy. I like this guy. I trust this guy. And I'm going to take his advice. So anything you can do to create that. It's never about, like, Frank doesn't come on and say, hey, here's my stuff, just buy it. He doesn't do that. He builds a relationship with you by taking you on a journey, sometimes in his car. A lot of times he would take you into his office. He would give you a tour. You'd sit down and you'd be like talking to him face to face. It's all part of that creation of that. And the more you know him, the more you get the idea that this guy's really successful. I want to be like him and I want to do what he does. And that's how he's been so successful at that. Andy Jenkins did the same thing, not near as much as Frank. Frank was much more in the spotlight. Mike Filsame did it. All of them did it. Jeff Walker, he did it. He created the product launch formula. And if you watch his product launch formula and you learn it, it's not him trying to sell you something. You don't even know what he's selling until you get 4 videos in. And they're not even all in the same day. It's like he hits you one day after another. It's a 4-day process of him teaching you something that's high value before he even makes you an offer. You don't really, in a lot of cases, you don't even know what he's going to offer. Same thing that Frank did with mass control. So again, this whole thing, when you're paying for traffic, and the thing that I'm going to show you guys and share with you guys today is the solo ads, it's super simple. If you don't have a list, that's where a lot of people say, I don't have a list. I don't have any traffic. How do I get started? It's the chicken before the egg. Solo ads is a good opportunity for you to eliminate that problem, because you've got guys out there. There's a ton of guys that don't have products. They don't want to have products. All they want to do is market stuff. That's the guys I'm talking about that will run the solo ads for you. All they do is they lead generate. They give away free stuff to generate a lead. And all they're doing, the free stuff, all it's doing, it's just like tagging people for what they signed up for. It tells them what they're interested in. So they've got all these lists of people and they know what they've signed up for. So when you come to them, you say, hey, I'm Russ. I've got these cool umbrellas. They keep people safe from the sun. Who do you have? Do you have a list of people that are sun seekers, outdoors people that are into boating and beaching and all of that stuff? Who do you have? And he'll look up and he'll say, oh, I've got, 15,000 of those people. I can do a solo email drop for you for X amount of dollars. Sometimes they don't even charge you like X amount of dollars for the list. They'll sell you so many opens or so many clicks, which is really cool, because that way you know what you're paying for. You're not going to get nothing out of the deal. Now, it doesn't guarantee that anything's going to happen beyond the click, but it does guarantee you that you're going to be going out to real live people that do have an interest in what you've got. After that, it's up to you how you convert them. Totally up to you. A lot of times the solo email guys, these guys are good marketers. They didn't get those lists by not knowing what they're doing. So a lot of times they will actually write the email for you. They will actually do the subject for you, because if they're selling you clicks, they need to supply the clicks. So they're not going to depend on you to know how to do that. A lot of times they will do that for you. If they're going to do that for you, everybody in our group is way more sophisticated than most people that start into this. You guys know, believe it or not, you know a shitload more than you think. Everything that you've learned in here is far beyond what most people know. So when these guys write your subject lines or your emails for you, look at it before they send it. I bet you dollars to donuts you can improve it knowing what you know. So don't just, cut them loose completely. That's a newbie. That's somebody that doesn't know any better. They're depending on them because they just don't know. You guys know. So look at the stuff before they send it on your behalf. And like I said, almost always you can improve upon it. And you want to do that. So, you're going to pay X amount And your results are going to depend on all those conversion factors. How many people open it? How many people click on it? How many people take the thing after you offer it? So those things are all really, really important. So keep that in mind. But these guys, there's a ton of them and they make a living at this. So if you're wondering why would they send emails on my behalf, that's what they do for a living. They generated that list so they could sell it over and over and over. And I'm telling you, most of these guys don't have their own products. They are looking for people with products that match their lists that they've built. That's how they make money. Some of them will do affiliate marketing. There's a lot of these guys that build these lists and they don't even offer them as solo drops. They don't care. They'll just go over to ClickBank and they will find people that are selling stuff that match their list and they'll just sell affiliate offers. And they make a lot of money doing it. Like, I don't know if you guys know Matt Basak. He's probably, in amongst one of the oldest marketers I know. And this guy has made millions of dollars doing just that. He's got his own products, but he sells a ton of affiliate offers through ClickBank and stuff. And he is, I was just on a webinar with him this morning because he's always throwing out hype. He's very, very hypey. And I can't stand that shit. And I couldn't sit through more than about 10 minutes of his webinar this morning. It's just like, it just makes me sick. Yeah. All I'm not even going to go into it. He's just crazy hypey. I hate that. So, but anyway, the guy has made a ton of money building lists. He knows how to make offers. He knows, get them on the list, nurture them, and then go ahead and make them an offer and sell them stuff. So that's the key. What I'm going to do, I've put together a list of solo email providers and actually networks. There's actually like repositories of these guys where they all go and they can sign up, and it's like a directory of solo email providers. So I'm going to put that up in the members area under the traffic tab. When you go into the ACT program, go to the traffic tab, click on there, and I'm going to have a tab on there that's called solo email. And I'm going to put all the resources in there for you guys. I'm also going to put an example of the guy that's doing the helium deal. And for those of you, I think a lot of you guys know about the helium deal, right? The helium crypto, it's kind of an offer that's going around. And his name's Jeff Mills. And Jeff is actually running solo ads to promote this. So any of the affiliate marketers that came in below him to sell the offer, he offered all of us, because he knew people like me are not going to go out. They're going to tell a handful of people, but they're not going to grow a list on this thing. So he made an offer out to us of, hey, if I promote it for you and do a co-op deal, who wants to get in on it? Well, I'm like, sure, I'll give that a shot. So I put up $100 in the co-op. And so far, let me check. I think I've got, look in my Kartra and see, I've gotten 85 leads. 85 people have signed up for $100 in a co-op deal, and it was all solo email ads. I'm going to show you, he's given me the script. He's given me the headlines, the whole thing. It's almost like a tutorial. And I'll put that up in there. It's a ClickFunnels page. And he shows where he bought the ads. He shows the whole enchilada. It's like the whole thing. He pulled the Komodo back and showing you the whole deal.
Hey, John, where did you say you're going to place that?
I'm going to put that in the ACT program under the traffic tab.
Okay.
So when you go under traffic, there'll be a link there called solo ads. And I'll put his page up there where he's got all the instructions of exactly how to do it, where he bought the traffic. And he did this, I think he did this with like several hundred people. There was several hundred people that put up $100 each. bought a slot in there, and then he ran the ads for us. And he just put them in a rotator. So we all get rotated evenly throughout the solo ad network. And like I said, for $100, I've already gotten 85 people to sign up. That's pretty damn good. He created the landing page, he created the email, he created the subject. So you guys can kind of see how it all works, you know, how it all fits together.
John, when will you be putting that stuff on your site there? Today or?
Yeah, I'll put that up today for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got all the links put up. So, and there's some really good resources in there too of where to find solo email providers. One thing, I mean, you can research it. You can go into Google and just put solo email providers and you can get a ton of them. But I've already done that. So I've got the list for you, the ones that look good. I've also got some other alternative traffic sources too that I'm going to put in the list for you guys as well. But regardless of where you go, regardless of who you buy ads through, whether it's Facebook ads or solo email, or you know, you're doing podcasts or whatever, all these rules apply. You have to optimize every step of the way to make it work. And the better you are, the better it's going to work, the more leads you're going to make, the more offers you're going to make, and the more profits you're going to make. It's down to the math. The sharper you get the sword, the more money you're going to make. So that is the key to all of it. Another thing that I was talking about, and I don't think I told you guys where I was doing it or what I was doing, but I've been getting in on these not sweepstakes. They're giveaways in JV Insider Circle. Those guys have a bunch of people that do these summits, telesummits. They do speaker events. They do it's all online. But what they do to generate leads is they have giveaways, and they have a bunch of people like me or speakers, you know, any of you guys that would qualify for this, and you offer a free giveaway, and it's an enticement for them to recruit more people in to come to their summits and stuff. So your part is you're giving away high value and you're getting the leads off it. Their part is they're giving your high value to get people into their funnels so they can sell them stuff. You also make a commission on it. Anybody that comes through and gets your gifts and then they purchase, you get credited as the affiliate, so you make a commission. So it's a pretty good deal. The only thing I personally don't like about it is they require you to promote it. And I don't like to promote a lot of stuff. So I've probably done as many of them as I'm going to do for quite some time at this point. I got one more running and then that's the end of it. But this one was kind of cool. They had a thing. It was an increased level. You could pay a little bit more. And I think it was like $200 more, and you could be one of their authorized coaches. And they have a thing called Coach's Corner. So all the people that are flooding through this system, they're going to be promoted to this Coach's Corner, and they can sign up for a free 20-minute coaching session with any of the coaches. So like I said, I paid the extra $200 and I'm one of the coaches. And what you have to do is you have to set up a special calendar just for them, just for this event. And it runs December 2nd through the 18th, I think. And you can only offer one coaching session per day on that calendar. And as soon as somebody takes it, that's it. That spot's full. So you get X amount of days of people that you can coach, and it's one per day. And that's kind of the way they're keeping it under control. But those coaching sessions, that's going to be a high opportunity for somebody to get to know you, trust you, and want to buy something from you. You give them 20 minutes of free coaching, which I do that already. I do that on my website with the 15-minute strategy session. Most people that take that 15-minute strategy session wind up being a customer of mine. So it's a very good free gift. It's a good way to get them an intro. There's no, there's no commitment on their part. So it's an easy offer. It's an easy offer for them to come in, get to know you, see if they like you, and see if they want to move forward with you. So anyway, that's another thing that I'm doing. The woman that does a lot of these, her name is Diane Feory, and she runs this thing called Limitless Gifts. If any of you guys are interested, shoot me an email and I'll put you in contact with her if you want to get in on that, if you need to build a list, or if that is of interest to you. So anyway,
John, what was that called? Limitless what?
Limit
Feory?
Gifts. Diane Feory is the one that runs it, and
Okay.
she's part of the JV Insider Circle group.
Thank you.
So there's a bunch of them. I can connect you with whoever you want in there if you want to get into that stuff. So anyway, one of the things I was going to pop back to the whole Black Friday thing. Do you guys have any questions about the solo ads, how that works, what that is, anything, as long as we're at that juncture here?
Yeah, I don't know what that is exactly, John. If you could explain it, that would be great.
Sure. It's just email. It's people that have an email list that will send an email on your behalf for a payment. Sometimes it's a payment of how many people they send out to. Sometimes it's a payment for X amount of clicks. Like if you're on a budget, let's say you only have $100 to spend and you want to do a solo email. You can say, how many clicks can I get for $100? And what they'll do, they will just keep sending to their list until they supply you the 100 clicks or however many they've agreed to. And that way they're not using their whole list. They're just sending to a fraction of their list to supply you what you need for your budget.
Hey, John. So
Yeah.
are you sound like you're suggesting two things: that we use this model that you're going to give us access to create our own solo emails. I'm guessing for either people we already have an email of, or if we come across somebody, we want to send one email to that person. And then the second part, it sounds like you're now saying there's companies that do this, and we can actually hire someone to help us do this email and get leads.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. So if you're in a situation where you don't have lists and you don't have leads and you need to build your list, you can go to these guys and you can just pay them to email your offer out to their list.
But you got to have a great offer first.
Yes, and you don't have to have what I would highly recommend is you have a free offer. It's just, you're not trying to do a buy or die. If you do buy or die, I can tell you which one you're going to get.
Die.
Yeah, exactly. What you want to do is you want to do that first lead magnet. Remember, the absolute best lead magnet that you're ever going to create is the one that gives your ideal client the first step to where they want to go. If you figure out what it is that is going to allow them to take the first step and build the confidence to know they can actually make the journey and get what they want, that will create more demand and desire to work with you than you can imagine. So if you look at their timeline, where they are, where they want to go, what's the first thing that they would have to do to get there? If they can't, look at it this way. If they can't do this one thing, they are never getting there.
Got it.
If they can't do this first thing, that's it. And that will be the most powerful lead magnet you're ever going to create. If you can get into their head, figure out where they are, where they want to go, why they want to get there, and say, hey, I know how to get there. I know the road. I've been there before. I can show you. Let me prove it to you.
Yeah.
Here's something that you can do to take the first step, and I guarantee you it's going to work for you. And just give it to them for free.
You just gave me that idea. Okay.
Let them take that action. And once they take the action, what happens is they advance themselves. They move closer to that thing that they want, and their confidence goes through the roof. One of the biggest reasons people don't buy and don't move, don't take action is they don't have the confidence. They don't think they could get it. They thought if they could get it, they'd already have it, and they don't. So forget it. And
So
they
this is that idea of certainty. They either have low certainty or
they have low self-esteem. They just don't believe in themselves. So if you can allow them to take that first step and they can move toward it, all of that goes out the window. Now they're away from the path of I can't, and they're on the path that I can.
got it. Okay.
So, John, I have a question I actually wanted to ask you last week, because you have this thing called the perfect sales sequence.
Uh-huh.
I mean, can I just use that as a template
Yes.
for all of the different campaigns?
Yes. And what
So
that
you have-
is,
Okay,
before you use it, know where to use it. That is the perfect template for a sales presentation.
right.
You have to build trust before you give a sales presentation. So like if you give away the free thing and you get their confidence up, that's the perfect time to invite them into that presentation.
Okay. Because it looks like you have all of the different components that you always talk about, the dimensionalize, the, twist the knife.
Mhm. That's when you get to the point of a presentation.
Okay,
So in your funnel, depending on how long your funnel is, how expensive your offer is, all of that is going to depend on where you put that and how long and extensive it has to be. The higher dollar item, if you're trying to sell a $10,000 or $20,000 training program, you're going to have to build a lot of trust and rapport. You're going to have to create a lot of demand and desire, and you're probably going to have to eliminate a lot of objections. So that presentation is going to have to be expanded. You're going to have to do that possibly over multiple presentations or a long one. It's going to probably be an hour-long presentation at least, because you have a lot of stuff to address. You have a lot of training to do.
yeah, so that's like the ultimate, like long video sales presentation. But I'm just like what you're talking about now for the email, I'm like, those things are all part of this. I just want to I just want the template, and I'll say, I don't need this, I don't need this.
It's little pieces. It's basically,
Right, okay.
if you take the whole thing and you splinter off a little slice and you feed that out one at a time, leading them to the big thing. That's
right.
all
Okay,
we're talking
that's what I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Don't just take somebody cold and stuff them into that presentation. That's a buy or die scenario. And Randy was right on the money with which one you're going to get.
I think I've tried that plenty of times. Yeah.
Oh, I have too. It's tempting. You want to go for it. You want to make the sale. You don't want to mess around. And we've all done it. Don't feel bad about that. Jim, you had your hand up there.
Yeah, thanks, John. It sounds like we want to start with throwing cat food off the back of the boat if we want to catch some mackerel.
Exactly. Little enticers.
Yeah, so
Work.
And then,
oh my God, yeah, it works like a charm.
and then eventually you put a hook in one.
Or several.
Yeah, exactly.
So I hope this serves many of us on the call, but I have notes everywhere about the big idea and also Frank Kern's model. So I have, here's what I got, here's what it will do for you, here's how to get it. And for the big idea, I have the promise, unique delivery, and proprietary, compelling with new words. Can you expand on that? And maybe I have a mental block, but I feel like this is I've been through the whole ACT program, and I even teach this to other people, but with my own business, I'd love for you to sliver that into little steps so that we can all come up with those elements? What's the process?
Okay. For me, the process really is breaking down those three things. I first need to be clear on what it is that I'm promising. And most people are way too vague with that. A promise has to be something tangible that they actually think. You're entering into their mind of what they're thinking. Like, let me give you a perfect example here. This one is from Kaya, and I know she wants me to cover this, so here it comes.
Oh.
And you mind if I share your Word document?
Oh, not at all.
Okay. So this is her Word document. She's working on the big idea. She's got her ideal client. So here's her promise. Sleep soundly every night so you can be your very best every day. Now, the problem with that is I don't think people are staying up late at night, not being able to sleep because they wish they could be their best every day. It's too vague.
Yeah.
It's not what they're thinking. For a promise, you've got to key in on what they want and why they want it. And if you can do that, you can make a really solid promise. It has to be specific. It can't be like just out there, like, want to feel better. Yeah, we all want to feel better, but that's not what's keeping us up at night. It's the pain of what's making us not feel good. You have to be able to describe that in detail. So that's the thing with the promise. You have to get into their head and you have to figure out what it is that is really eating at them. And it's generally, like in business, it's generally not money. Money will solve the problem, but the real problem is they're figuring out, what am I going to do if I can't make my payroll? Friday is coming and I got to pay these guys and I don't have the money. So it's the promise is directly related to the pain and the pressure and where it all is. The money is just kind of an ancillary thing. And here it's the same thing with the sleep and feeling their best every day. That's just kind of a side ancillary thing. Mm-hmm. You got to really dig into, what is that really costing them? What's happening because they don't have sound sleep? Now, your unique mechanism is right on the freaking money. I love it. The bio-nesting. That's I've never heard that before.
This is so hilarious because all the women I asked said it was too intellectual, and the men probably love it because of the bio. Okay. So,
but it's, even if it's too intellectual, it doesn't matter. It's the thing that's going to deliver the result. People will overlook a lot of things if they feel this is the thing that's going to deliver the result.
So is it the word per se, or is it what bio-nesting per se, or is it I could come up with another acronym or something for it?
I actually love the word bio.
I want to say
it's your unique mechanism.
So the thing that you might be experiencing is you might be going into too much detail on bio-nesting, and that's why they feel it might be too complicated.
Oh, no, I just send it to a bunch of people. And I said, what do you think? And they're like, it sounds too, but this is great. I all your feedback is for everyone. I love it. And this is really,
I love it. I love it particularly because it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. It's
there's like bio and nesting can mean a whole bunch of different things, but it builds curiosity, and that's the unique mechanism. Yeah. So that's a great example.
Beautiful.
Exactly. So that piece, I think you got that one right on the money. But the promise, you've got to work on, you got to get the promise too. So
I would challenge you that not everybody, even if you do sleep well every night. I think that it's an overpromise to sleep soundly every night. I think sleeping soundly, you're talking to me, I'm 40 plus, educated, upper class, and I'm there and I don't sleep. So I want you to give me a promise that would make me want to look at this. The promise every night, so I stop being crabby, or so I don't, or eliminate whatever it is. But sleeping soundly every night, yeah, I don't believe that. And I probably wouldn't ever believe that. But sleeping soundly appeals to me, and it gets me right now because I want to sleep soundly.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I
So-
like
so,
the bitchy or
so
crabby.
Linda, what
Yes.
would grab you? Because me too, I don't sleep at all. And Kai and I were talking, and this is what we actually need: feedback from you guys and girls.
Well,
Because what Kaya found was the guys love bionesting, whereas some of the women say they don't relate to it. But we work together on this. So I really want, if you could each say what would get you in terms of the promise, that would be so helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
so-
to start, like I love, what is it when we don't have a good night's sleep? We're bitchy, we're edgy, we're reactive. Like I'll get tired at like 2 p.m, and I don't drink coffee, so I lose my productivity. So those are some ideas.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is getting into what's it costing them? What's happening to them? Where's the pain? Where's the real pain? Is it affecting their relationships? Are they going to get a divorce over this? Because if you can say, if you can make some sort of a statement like, avoid divorce because of, whatever this is costing you from not getting sound sleep. And you've got a target audience that's their deal, that's going to really resonate with them. And
getting back on track or something like that. I think you're right on the money, John. Sleep soundly so you can get back on track. But I'm off track when I don't sleep.
Yeah, but even off track, on track, that's too fluffy. It's not defined enough for somebody. Like, I guarantee you're not staying up late at night thinking, well, I wish I was back on track. No, I don't believe that for a second. It's specific. What you want is specific. It's not ambiguous.
Yeah.
Kaya, also
Yeah.
you can come up with 5 promises, like take each of those subgroups. Is loss of sleep destroying your relationship? Is loss of sleep causing you to lose money in your business? Is loss of sleep making you cranky and unlikable during the day? Then you target those sub niches.
And one last thing here.
Thank you.
So we've got the promise and the unique mechanism, and then you jump to solution, but you're missing a piece here, which is it's the intellectually interesting angle. It's like, how do we say this in a way it's never been said before? What somebody has not heard before? And sometimes it's attaching it to something completely different, but it relates somehow. It's kind of like what I did with the Elvis shift. Elvis has, really nothing to do with your business. He's a musician. None of you guys are musicians, or, maybe you are, but most people are not musicians. But his business was the business of music. And he was able to go from a struggling musician, which you see yourself as a struggling business owner, to the king of rock and roll, which is where you see yourself wanting to be the king of your industry. And I tied those two together and called it the Elvis shift, which was my unique mechanism.
Got it.
It was the shift that Elvis did that changed everything for him. And what I'm saying is, this is the shift that will change everything for you. Mind connects the dots like that. So when you can have like a metaphor, if you want to put it that way, it's something that connects the dots to, this is what I need. This worked for that. It's going to work for me. It's very specific. It's exactly what I want. And I see how it's going to get delivered. And that's the unique mechanism. If you don't have a unique mechanism, the brain can't connect the dots. The brain doesn't see how it's going to get there, and it automatically just ignores it. That's so Jim, back to your question. it really is all three of those components that create a big idea, and they have to be all in play.
So when you say the unique mechanism, are you speaking of like the way I'm working with it is basically people are pretty jacked up, and there's two things that can really help them, you know, calm their nervous system is working with their environment and specifically, but then it's the EMFs and also looking at the design of their sleeping space.
Yeah, but that does not come into the front end of this in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, got
It's
it.
a thing they've never heard of. It's unique. It's bionesting.
Okay.
Bionesting is the thing that's going to deliver the result. You don't get into how it works here. This is just grabbing attention.
Yeah.
Where you get into how it works is that's where you're creating demand and desire. You have to grab attention first. And if you get into the weeds up front, you're going to lose them.
Got it.
It's like you have to earn the right to go deeper. It's like, have you ever met up with somebody and they open up a conversation you're not interested in and you just want to leave?
Mhm.
I'm sure you've had that experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing here. If you want to get them to ask you more, that's when you can go into the details, but not before. Not
So
before
John,
they ask you more.
do you just want to get their email? Is that the objective with the first?
Yes. And by them putting their email in, they're asking for more.
Okay.
But if you give them too much, they're not, you put it all out on the table and now they're making a decision, yay or nay. It's like you go to a used car lot and you ask him, how much is the car? He's not going to tell you. He's not going to tell you how much the car is until he's built the value. He knows if he goes out of order, he's going to fail. Any good salesperson knows this. That's why they will bring you back and they'll take you through a particular process. You might not like it, but it's the what they know works.
So is that why it's so important to lead with just a landing page initially and
Yes.
then take them to your website where there's more information?
Yes, you're getting them to say, yes, I'd like more. And that's your job. That is your number one job. Like if you go to any kind of a sales training, the first thing they're going to tell you is you do things step by step. When you go to a networking event, you're not there to make a presentation. You're there to generate a lead.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing after you generate the lead is to set a follow-up appointment. You're not trying to do a presentation there in the presence of the mixer. They're not there to be presented to. They're there to meet people and find interesting people that they can work with and follow up with later. If they spend too much time with you, it's robbing them of the opportunity of seeing who else is in the room. So you're really doing them a disservice if you take too much of their time during that mixer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing here. Don't take too much of their time. Put your thing out there. And if they're interested, they'll opt in and now you can take them to the next step. But don't get into the weeds too quickly.
Beautiful. That's really awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, it is a long process. Sales is not a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
By sheer volume of the numbers, yeah, you'll have some that they call laydowns.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they got money in their hand and it's burning a hole in their pocket and they'll just buy anything at any given time. That will give you a false sense of security. It's not going to work like that the next time. You have to get good at this so you can do this in the worst of scenarios. And when you're good at it and you can operate and you can perform and you can be successful in the worst case scenario, then when the laydowns come, they're just going to fall like rain. But you've got to be able to grab attention.
Foreplay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's even before the foreplay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's the banter that creates the desire for the foreplay.
Yes.
Right? It's those little micro commitments leading up to the desired outcome.
Mhm.
And if you jump to the end, you know the result. Maybe you'll find one that's drunk enough, but it's not a repeatable scenario.
Rinse and dry, doesn't rinse and dry.
Yeah. There's no rinse and repeat in that scenario. Not to say it can't happen, but it's not. It's definitely not something that you want to hang your hat on.
Can I ask a question about what does BioNest do? How is it, what does it do?
Well, there's 3 different components. That's where it's a little tricky. There's one is doing EMF analysis in someone's home, actually looking at their home design, which is the second piece. And the third one is I'm creating an online program. So I decided to create the program through, I'm going to do a monthly call. And then I'm going to sell that as a package. And then I'm going to build my program from that because I've got all the information. It's a matter of collating it. And then that'll be in the member portal where people will have access to that. So that's what I'm thinking about. So I don't know if that explains it, but it's really looking at the energies, the invisible energies in a space that disturb sleep that people are completely unaware of, most people.
Yeah.
So if you eliminated the sneaky energy that robs you, or the sneaky energy that wakes you up in the middle of the night, so you can sleep like a baby, would be closer to what I want to be able to do. I want to sleep like a baby.
Mhm. Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's what you're trying to figure out is the what and the why, what they want, why they want it. And then you can make an effective promise.
Mhm.
So cool stuff. You guys want to see how this all gets put together into a funnel?
Yes.
No, we don't want to. We don't want to watch a pro do it.
Hey, John, can I squeeze in a quick question first?
We do.
Sure, go ahead.
I was going back through my notes to find the email service that you had recommended when we have an external list that we want to use to get people to opt into something new.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Rather than doing it through Kartra, rather than loading it into Kartra.
Oh, I'm still not sure I'm following your
So,
question.
I'm working on a side project with someone. They've got a list of people that we want to send.
Oh,
We want
gotcha.
to get to register for something. I don't want to dump it into my Kartra account and run it from there.
I get
which
you. So
is-
you want to do true bulk email.
Yeah, to start.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of different bulk email providers out there. There's a couple. I could look up the ones that I've used in the past and send them over to you. Shoot me an email and I'll dig those up.
Okay.
But yeah, that's if you're sending cold email, like there's a couple ways to do this. So one would be the solo email guys, and they've already done all this. They've already taken all the nightmare out of this, and they've already generated the leads, and they're just going to send it to their leads for you. That's the easiest by far, the easiest way to do it. A much more complicated, painful scenario is to do that yourself and generate your own list through bulk email. There's many problems with that. First, you have to buy a list or get a list from somewhere. That's not the problem though. That's the easy part. Buying the list is the easy part. It's sending bulk email out to that list that you did not subscribe to is where it gets dicey. Very few people will allow you to do that. And a lot of times you'll get accounts closed down, you'll get your website blackballed. There's a ton of different stuff that can go wrong in bulk email. It's not for the faint of heart, and it's not for newbies.
Yeah, this is a warm list. It's for our high school reunion.
Okay. So
it's just somebody else's list, and I don't want if they. I offered to run a registration process for them. I figured it's a way to be of service, and that I can, it's something I can practice on.
Gotcha.
With Kartra. I just don't want to load their list in until we start getting RSVP responses from people that are interested.
Gotcha. Okay, so let me show you. Let me share my screen here. And you can actually do this from within Kartra too. If you go to the integrations tab and you go down to email, SendGrid is probably the one I was talking about. That's probably the one that you were referring to. So you can create a SendGrid account, and then you can send your bulk email out through SendGrid right from within Kartra. So instead of using the Kartra mail to send it out, you can use the SendGrid email gateway to send your mail through Kartra, and you will not get in trouble with Kartra doing that. So if you wanted to import your list, this is a way that you can actually import a list and email through Kartra without getting in trouble. And I've recently figured this one out. So let's say you've got, 10,000 people on a list. You want to import them into Kartra. Kartra get them to approve it, but do not send it out using the regular Kartra mailer. Use the SendGrid mail gateway to send that mail out, and then you won't have any problems with Kartra by doing that. So the other ones, I've never used these other ones, but I know several people that have used SendGrid very successfully. Like 3 of the people, I told them not to do this with the Kartra mail, and they got their Kartra mail shut down. They all moved to SendGrid, and that's how they're sending their mail through Kartra using SendGrid. But just don't burn your Kartra mailer. Just send bulk mail through SendGrid and save Kartra mail for your all of the rest of your stuff. That would be what I would recommend.
Super. Thank you.
Okay, so let's go into pages here, and I'll show you one I'm setting up here. This is taking an existing product that we had, which is the Site Pop product, and we've only sold this to people for use on Google, but it also works on Amazon. And we found some solo email providers that have a list of like 40,000 Amazon sellers. So we have a hot audience. So what I did was I went down here and I created a new landing page. So this is the landing page here. And up at the top, the call out is biggest Amazon ranking discovery in years. That should get somebody's attention that is an Amazon seller, because they know how important ranking is. Now, here's the intellectually interesting part of how an SEO insider discovers the secret to ranking products at the top of Amazon. So that's the part that's intellectually interesting about this. The promise is obvious. The promise is ranking your products at the top of Amazon. Now, the unique mechanism here is 3 secret signals that reprogram Amazon's artificial intelligence and forces your products to the top.
Wow.
So you see how those 3, they're all working together there. And now I've got my offer, free video showing you how to easily get top Amazon rankings. Oh, excuse me. Get instant access now. Now, if I haven't got them by here, I'm going to tickle them a little more. And I say, imagine having the power to reprogram Amazon's artificial intelligence. This is what you'll get out of this free training. Here's what I've got. Here's what it's going to do for you. Here's what I want you to do next. And then I say, here, are you ready for that kind of power? I'm actually taunting their ego. Like, can you handle this kind of power? Anybody in business that's competitive, that is just calling them on. That's like, I dare ya. and then it's cut off here, but it says your competitors won't stand a chance. And again, this is geared towards somebody that is a power broker, a power entrepreneur. There, you don't get to sell on Amazon without jumping through some hoops. This is somebody that's pretty aggressive. They're money oriented. They're entrepreneurial. So everything I've created and crafted here is geared toward that person. So that's my landing page. This is the big idea that the solo email ad is going to land them on. I don't have the solo email ad copy yet because they're going to write that for us and then I'm going to edit it. But this is where I'm going to land them. Now, once they hit that, it's get instant access. So where I'm pushing them next is the actual video. It says, watch this free video revealing how to easily get top Amazon ranking. This video, we're going to create this probably tomorrow, and this will get swapped out. I just put this in as a placeholder. This is my SEO checkmate video. So I'll change this to Amazon checkmate. And then there's a button here that will show up after you've watched the video for a certain amount of minutes. Again, I don't want them to click to find out how much it is until I've built the value. That's part of the whole thing of how much is it? Well, let me show you why it is what it is before you give them the price. So let's see here. And this is actually the page live. So I can show you how this is going to work. Again, this is Kartra, so it's, you guys are probably pretty familiar with this. Takes you to the video page. Now it's got the button here because I've been on this page for more than 20 minutes, so the button shows up. But now when they say get yours now, that takes them to the first offer. And you'll see this is clicking through because I've got timers on here. So it actually forwarded us to the last page, which I didn't want to do, but I forgot it was going to do that. So I'll show you how we get around that. Let me go back to Kartra here. So anyway, this is our video page. When they first click that button, they go to a 48-hour special here. So it's a beta special. And I'm actually giving them not only the software for Amazon, but I say get top ranking on all 4 of the biggest traffic platforms, Amazon, YouTube, Google, and Bing. And they're going to get, if they get it during this beta offer, they're going to get all 4 for the price of 1. And it's for 48 hours only. And then I've got the pricing. And I've got the normal pricing here. Normally this is $297 a month. They're getting it for $77, and they're getting all 4 for the price of 1. And that's for up to 10 projects. Now over here in the presentation, this is where we talk about you could make a lot of money by selling this to other people. You get the agency version. You have 50 projects. You can sell these projects for $100 a month easily all day long. And 50 projects is $147 a month. So if you were to sell 50 for 100, that's $5,000 a month you're bringing in, and it's costing you $147 to run that business. So it's a pretty high appeal offer for those guys that are really entrepreneurial and want to sell products to people. So anyway, that's our first offer. That offer is up for 48 hours. There's a sequence of emails that's tickling them and reminding them to go here. Next, after the 48 hours, we do this. We extend it for another 24 hours and we bring in a basic version. So if price was an issue, now I'm going to pick up the ones at 27. So if I couldn't sell them at 77, they don't even know this exists until 48 hours in. Now I'm going to pick up the ones that couldn't afford it. And I'm going to leave nothing on the table here. This offer is going to go for 24 hours. And then after that, it goes to number 3. This is going to be last chance at special pricing, but notice the pricing went up. The 27 went to 47, the 77 went to 97, and the 147 went to 197. So they missed the best pricing that they're ever going to see on this product. but they can still get it at a substantial discount only for the next 24 hours. And that's the last chance offer. And then here, the beta offer is expired. They can still lock in lifetime pricing, but it's at the full pop pricing. But they can assure that I'm not going to raise their price here. I give them lifetime price lock wherever they purchase. So that's the sequence of pages. Every one of these pages was just cloned. I made the page once, I cloned it, made slight tweaks to it. And that's the sequence of pages in this campaign. Now, also what's going on, keep this in mind, keep the sequence in mind there. You've got the video, you've got the first 48-hour offer, you've got the downsell 24-hour offer, you've got the first price increase, and then you've got full price. So this thing's going to go on over multiple days. So next I went over and I created a sequence. So I go into sequences and I created the replay sequence. Now what this is what they get when they first hit the replay, or when they first opt in. I want to make sure they watch the video. So this replay sequence is only to get them to watch the video. And look at how many times I tickle them to get them to watch that video. So the first one, they get the thank you page immediately, so they could watch it right there. If they don't watch it right there, it's going to trigger here my starting rule. 1 hour later, I'm going to send them a reminder to watch that video. 1 day after that, I'm going to send it to them again. A day after that, I'm going to send it to them again. And a day after that, I'm going to send it to them again. As soon as they watch it, there's an automation that will kill the sequence, because I don't want to keep sending them the email if they've already watched it. So what I'm going to do there, so this sequence dies, and then it goes to the next one. This is the offer sequence. And all those they're just little short emails reminding them, giving them the link, telling them why, another reason why they want to see it, why they don't want this to pass them by. Okay, so here's our starting rule. It's an HTTP. It means they actually landed on the video and they're watching the video. So 1 hour after that, if they haven't ordered, I have another automation that says if they order the product, this sequence gets killed. So if they haven't ordered the product in an hour, I'm going to resend the email that says the offer is live. You've got 48 hours. Don't miss it. Make sure you watch the video. Make sure you choose the plan you want and get your lifetime price locked in. Here, 1 day later, 23 hours later, I've got 1 day left, 24 hours left for the special offer. 22 hours after that, I'm telling them the offer ends in 1 hour. They really have 2 hours, but I'm telling them, look, you got about an hour left. It's going to be an hour and some minutes. So I'm going to say you got like an hour and something left. Don't miss out, right? And then after that, basically the first offer is off the table. So 2 hours later, this is where the basic is now included, now available. So I say, hey, what we decided to do is offer a lower version for those of you that only need 3 projects instead of 10. And we're going to extend the entire sale out another 24 hours, but that's it. And then 21 hours after that, it's a last chance to lock in beta pricing. And then 3 hours after that, the price just went up. And then 20 hours after that one, this is the final thing. This is the end. If you don't get it now, you're going to be paying full price. So we are literally hammering the shit out of them to get them to make this purchase. But it's one a day, basically, for the most part. And if they purchase at any price level, the sequence gets killed.
This is brilliant, John, but the whole backhand was done by your team, right? Like how long?
I did it myself.
Oh, you did it?
I did this myself and I did it yesterday.
Wow, that's great.
So here's an automation right here. Site pop agency at any price point, unsubscribe from the offer sequence and the replay sequence. Here's one, customer buys pro at any price, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. Here's the low level one, customer buys site pop at any price, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. So I did every piece of this myself. I wrote all the emails. It probably took me somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 or 4 hours.
I can feel the power of it. Amazing.
It's all about really knowing what you want it to do. It's super simple to do these things. It's just, it can feel like overwhelming if you've never done it before, because there's a lot of moving parts. You see, I've got a form. So here's the pieces. I have the form. This is what they opt into. And then I've got pages. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 pages. And again, I created the one page, got the look and feel, and just kept cloning it, adding the stuff to it as I went. So we got 6 pages, a form. We've got 6 automations and 2 sequences. And we've got 3 products. Because I have the 3 different price levels. I've got the basic, the pro, and the agency. And I didn't know any better. I set them up as individual products. I didn't have to do that. I could have made different price levels in them, but I set this up like 2 years ago with these products. So I wasn't quite as familiar with Kartra as I am now. So those are the pieces to the puzzle. There's not really much else to it other than that, but you can see the sequence, how it all works, how it's all interconnected. And that's pretty much the game. A pretty cool campaign though. If any of you guys want to do a similar campaign, let me know. I can clone that whole campaign and put it right into your Kartra account.
You read my mind. I was thinking, can you clone that for everybody that's already with you on Kartra?
Yes, please. I'll take 2.
Wait a minute, there's no charge for that, right, John? That's part of our membership?
Part of your membership. I'm happy to do it.
Yes, please.
Where are
Yes,
you gonna
please.
put it, Johnny?
I've got several of them already up in the bonus section. If you go into the ACT program in the bonus section, I think I've got 2 or 3 up there already that I've created that are available. And all you have to do is just make sure you go into each piece and edit all the components to put your offers in there. You know, change your color schemes or, you know, whatever you want to do.
Oh, we don't get an affiliate if we just send them to your offers, John, from our list?
Well, you can do that too. I mean, I've got everything I've done is as an affiliate thing. If you just want to send stuff here, make money and not have to deal with any of this, it's not a problem.
I just thought I'd throw that out there. I didn't know if that was actually something you'd like us to do, John. I'm not sure.
Absolutely. I love writing affiliate checks. Absolutely. But that campaign that I just showed you is very similar. It is a clone of a different campaign that I had done before, although I didn't clone it because I actually recreated it step by step because I found it was easier because there's so many things that get changed. I just went through and just redid the whole thing. But that is basically, it's a copy of a campaign that I did with the same software. Only difference was it was geared toward an audience of SEO guys that wanted to manipulate Google. So the big change here, the big shift was now I'm focused on Amazon sellers that want to rank their products in Amazon. I've got some phenomenal case studies for it too. I've got a couple of the users that actually stopped selling on Amazon because they sold out all their product. Because if you get ranked at the top of Amazon, you sell a shitload of products. So I've got 2 case studies like that. I've also got Chris, my programmer. He did this last Halloween. He's into, I think they call it cosplay. It's they do costume stuff. Him and his dad build Halloween costumes, really elaborate Halloween costumes. And they order a lot of their foam products off Amazon. The problem is the vendors that they like were not on page 1. They were like on page 3, and they would have to scroll down to click to make their purchases. So what he did was he took his favorite vendors, he used the product on it, sent them to the top so it was easier for him to buy the products. Well, those guys had no idea of why that happened. We did it. They had no idea why they were all of a sudden at the top. But I think they had a really good Halloween. I'm sure they had a really good season this year because of that. So it's, you know, we've got cool examples, cool case studies, a lot of proof that this thing works, and we should be able to sell the hell out of it. But my point there was the campaign that we did before to the Google guys for the SEO community. When we ran that, the first time we ran that campaign, our first webinar, we sold $52,000 in sales off of that webinar. It blew my mind. And the only reason it did that was because of the sequence and the scarcity and all of that. And I had never done one like that before, but my JV broker said, if you want the good affiliates, you're going to have to do it this way because this is what they want. It sells more. And I kind of hemmed and hawed. I'm like, oh, I hate that kind of crap. But I did it anyway. I followed their advice, followed their sequence, and I could not believe how effective it was. So it really did the trick. And that was after, you know, an hour video, a good sales presentation, creating all the demand and desire, eliminating the objections, making a great offer, good bonuses that were in step with the offer, all that stuff. Everything, all the stars were aligned, and that thing sold really well. So I'm assuming this one is going to do the same. So anyway, that's one of our Black Friday things, but that's also going to be going out to somebody that's already created the list. If you guys haven't created a list, use Black Friday to build your list. Don't think that you have to sell stuff on Black Friday. The fact that you build a list is probably the most important thing, because then you can sell to them for the rest of the year and next year. If you don't build the list and you're not moving forward, next year's not going to be any better than this year. That I can guarantee you. Might be worse.
So you would suggest a landing page where they would opt in and then you could market to them at a later time. Is that right?
You want to build your list of qualified prospects. Even if, like in your case, Linda, you're selling houses. They're only going to buy the house once, right? But what could you do with the list after they've purchased the house, right? Most of them are going to want to redo the flooring. Most of them are going to want to redo the kitchen. They're going to want to paint. They're going to need a moving company. You could go out and you could affiliate with all those people, and you could make money in the middle all the way through for the rest of that person's life.
Can you walk me through that affiliate process, John?
You basically figure out like timeline. Remember, we talk about timeline. When you get them to the end of what they wanted, now they want something new, right? Mm-hmm. So as soon as you fulfill and they have the house that they wanted, their timeline starts over, right? Now they have to move in. So that would be the next logical step. So you could say, hey, do you have a mover yet? And if they say no, would you like me to recommend one for you?
I get that all the time.
Of course. Well, go out and find a mover that will pay you a commission. And now you have an affiliate offer. You have your first affiliate in your funnel, in your long back end funnel. So next is, hey, before you move your shit in there, it's a good idea to clean the carpets or replace them or do the flooring. You don't want to do that after all your furniture is in. So you might want to put your stuff in a long-term storage for a month or two, right? So you need a storage company. You need a flooring company. You need a painter. You need a kitchen remodeler. And just like now, all of a sudden, you're a one-stop shop. You didn't just—
How do you collect from these people?
you didn't just sell them a house, right?
No, but how do you collect your fees from the people that you're affiliated with?
Well, here's the deal. They get one chance to not pay you. And then you're going to send the stuff to their competitor.
Beautiful.
Just that simple. Everybody gets one chance to not pay me. And they're free to take it whenever they'd like.
So would you recommend that, like say I get calls all the time for contractors or for specific contract work, and those contracts are easily $50,000 to $150,000. And I was deeply involved with one until I was done with it, and they were signed, but I didn't take a fee on it. So in that instance, I know how much money I left on the table. I don't frequently know how much I've left on the table. So would you recommend that there is a package or a minimum amount that they agree to when you're negotiating these?
Sure. I mean, it's all about negotiation. You can negotiate anything you want. You can say, hey, can you do a special deal for my clients where you paint their whole 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for X amount and you pay me X amount?
So you package and bundle it. That's perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you.
You can have them set up special packages just for your customers. And, you know, they're looking for the work. They would love to find people that would just shovel them work. You know, sales is the hardest part of any business. When you show up with the sales, you're going to be the queen. You're going to get whatever you want. And they get one chance to not pay you. Right?
Hey, John, would you suggest that like Linda create because if you're worried about not getting paid, would it be wise to have the affiliate link run through her so that she could make the direct connection so she knows she made the connection?
Now, here's the deal. A lot of these guys are not going to be that sophisticated. So it's going to probably be a manual process in a lot of cases. That's just something you got to go with. And what I would probably do is when I made the introduction, I would probably send them an email that said, hey, I just sent you Kate. She's going to take your program, schedule her in as soon as possible. And then I'd send another email 2 weeks later. How's it going? Any hitches in the project? And then I'd send another one when the project should be complete, saying, hey, thank you for taking care of Kate. I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to the commissions that we both made or the money that we both just made. Just gentle reminders. And then, possibly a manual one after that of, hey, did you not get paid on that? And if they just flat don't pay you, then it's, well, thank you.
Well, you could also put some extra assurance in there by, targeting the person that you made the recommendation to, that you want them to write a review because you give this information. I want to know what their experience was with that vendor.
Yeah, you could trigger it that way. That's a great way to trigger it. Say, hey, I saw the review on Yelp. That's awesome, and that lets them know that that money is due. It's a gentle reminder.
The velvet hammer, or the velvet, right? It's the velvet hammer.
Yeah, exactly. And you can, you want to make sure that in your negotiation, that's very clear and cut and defined of when they pay you. If it's within a week of them getting paid, that's what it is. So,
and if they are paid in tranches, then you want how would you deal with that? Like in the $100,000 example, he's going to get paid, 30% up front, he's going to get, 50% of the remainder when he's 50% done of the job. And so there's a small end of that at the tail end. So do you get paid on the, would you recommend paid on the front end or?
Hard to say. I think most people would like to get paid on the front end, but again, it's all a negotiation. It's whatever you can work out with them. I would try and make it as simple as possible. Like if it's in multiple payments, you want to get yours in one, so you're not having to manage that.
Yeah, make it simple.
Yeah, make your accounting as simple as possible.
Would you recommend the middle payment? Because the first payment, they usually have to buy stuff. And then the middle payment is where it's all money.
Again, it's purely a negotiation. So it's whatever you can work out with them amicably.
Ask both ways, Allie, because they'll answer back whether or not they've got a lot of material to purchase.
Always ask for what you want and then take what they'll give. Yeah.
I sound like a broken record when I say that, and people say, "Well, I need more sales." Have you asked for the order? Have you asked? And they're like, "What? What do you mean asked?"
Exactly.
Hey, John, I have an off-topic question for you. I was looking at FTC, and I was mentioning to somebody about their website. They needed to have some disclaimers and disclosures on their website. They reported back to me that when they went out to FTC, they had gone onto your site. Actually, I recommended that they just look at, don't take my word for it. Go look at the pros. And your FTC, when they clicked on FTC, it went to like a blog. So, instead of understanding what the FTC rules are or what changes have been made, all you see is a series of conversations. Is that typical?
No, it doesn't. Let me look at and see. Did they click the link at the bottom?
Yes.
I know I've got in my knowledge base, I've got a couple articles about FTC. So I don't know if they clicked on maybe one of the articles, but down at the bottom, I've got the FTC Guardian logo.
Mm-hmm.
And if you click on that, it's supposed to take you right to the sales page, which it does.
Okay. They must have clicked someplace else.
Yeah, and I've got it set up with them where they get a lifetime discount offer, so they can get the whole thing for either well, they can get it for $297 for a year, or they can get it $497 one time for life. And they don't have that on their site. If you go to them directly, they do not have those offers.
And would I resell that?
You could, if you go through their affiliate program. I think their affiliate program is paid now, but if you are part of their affiliate program, I can put you in contact with the guy that can set these offers up for you.
That's awesome, because I talk to people all the time, and I'm seeing an expansion of that. I'll take that offline with you, John, on how to do that and how to set up an affiliate. The other question, I had another question. This had to do with it. I'll come back to it, but I'll take that one offline with you.
Yeah, it's Alan Cutts is the one that runs the affiliate program for them, and he's happy to do that.
Oh, I know what the question was. It had to do with the button at the top for ADA. Is that an application? Is that an application that you run?
Yes, it's called a widget. It's a little piece of widget code that you plug into your WordPress site, or any website for that matter, and then it just pops that up. It's kind of like, I've also got the little widget for the Kartra support desk, the help desk. The same type of thing.
I don't think you could put that into a Wix website, could you?
I don't.
You could. I've seen Josh nod his head yes. Did
You
you?
used to do Wix. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably have to edit the HTML or something.
Yeah.
And where would you find the widget?
The widget is, let me see. I can do the widget for you if you want.
Cool.
Let me see. ADA bundle is the one that I use.
Okay.
But yeah, that's something I can do that for you if you want. If you want the widget,
Beautiful.
just send me an email.
Done.
I'll send you the widget. Rebecca, is this for the site that I host for you?
Yes,
I'll just plug it in for you then.
it's a beautiful thing. I love it.
Ah,
I'm going to send you somebody else that's got a really incredible website that should be hosted by you as well, John.
I take good care of people, and that's why they stay with me forever.
There you go. That's why I'm there. Thank you.
how much does it cost to host with you? Is it dependent on services?
Yeah, basically it depends, what type of platform you've got, what you're looking for. On average, you can figure about $19.95 a month.
Cool. Thank you.
And that's for being on an optimized WordPress server, which is if you have a WordPress site, that is the hosting that you want. They don't have that at GoDaddy.
So if you had Wix, it could be transferred to that, or do you have to rebuild the whole thing?
I have a guy that can rebuild basically any site and transfer it over. So
Thank you.
What's the cost for doing that, John?
we can build sites for about $1,000, and I've built just about any site for $1,000.
Cool.
I got a side question for you, John.
Okay.
Someone reached out to me last week. So he's curious how he can protect his intellectual property. He has a very one-of-a-kind, unique betting system for fantasy NASCAR.
Okay.
I'm curious, from your take, how would he protect it? Patents, trademarks? Because he fears once it gets online, it's gone, kind of thing.
Yeah, and there's a reality to that. The reality to it is you're only going to be able to protect it depending on how much you're willing to defend it with.
I see.
And I mean that, I know that sucks, but it's the reality of it. Now, anything that you put text-wise on your site, technically you're protecting it by putting your copyright mark, your trademark, any of that kind of stuff. If it's actually intellectual coding property, I believe that would fall under a patent.
That's what I was thinking. He has a unique system where it shifts around. So
Yeah, that would fall under a patent, which would be, I don't know what the expense would be to go to that, but you'd have to do that through the Patent and Trademark Office in Washington, D.C.
all right, I'll give him that information. Thank you.
You can do that stuff yourself. Like I've done trademarks myself, and there's a lot of guys out there that'll charge you, thousands of dollars to register a trademark, and it literally is just a sheet of paper you're filling out. So it's the process, fill it out, follow the instructions, send it through, all of that. But
Cool. Thank you. That's what I figured. I just want to hear it from the best.
yeah, I mean, it truly is a matter. If somebody does steal it, it doesn't matter what you've done. You're going to have to defend it in court, and it's going to be really expensive. And if you don't have the wherewithal to do that, then the whole process in itself is worthless. And I know that sucks. But it's true.
Mm-hmm. Very true. All right. That's all I needed. Thank you, John.
Sure, absolutely.
May I ask a super quick question, John?
Sure.
The bionesting.com, right now I have chehomedesigns.com. Is it better, do you think, to switch it out to that and keep that as one focus? Or does it really matter?
Actually, I would. If that's going to be your unique mechanism and that's going to be your core deliverable, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
It absolutely makes sense. But again, you want to, before you make that decision, you had made mention that a lot of your women didn't like it. And that could be an important factor. Just because I like it doesn't mean it's right.
I'm going to run something on Facebook, I think, a little.
I absolutely love it. I think it makes a great, unique mechanism, but that doesn't make me right.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes me opinionated, of which I am. I'm opinionated based on a lot of, a lot of experience, but it doesn't mean I'm right. So you want to make sure that who your audience is, it's right for them. Maybe, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I just want to make sure that you don't take my word for it and assume that my word is right, because it's not. It's just, what I feel about it, what I think. So
That's helpful. Thank you.
Hey, John, regarding this bio-nesting thing, what it seems like is that the guys and certain like high-powered women like it. And then ladies, other women, like a different mindset group, they don't like it because they seem to think it's too techy or something. So could she do a split, like a niched out different big idea and use, like, do you recommend her having both websites linked together, or, because it's like really interesting how the guys like it and like DI, type in terms of the disc profile, power women like it, but the other kinds of women, other profiles don't whatever.
it might just be the bio word, but I think the nesting part you've got right on the money, because the nest is the nurturing part.
Right.
Maybe call it the nurture nest. Test something like that, nurture nesting. Because if you're not nurtured, your nest is not going to be restful.
Yeah. And that's we talked about nurturing for the women. That's what's interesting is bio-nesting lands, like Jim liked it, you like it. And then the women, some of these women like more of the nurturing aspect. So anyway, I just wanted to ask.
Or another thing too that I know about women is they're driven by security. So, secure nest, secure nesting, play around with stuff like that and see if that stuff is more resonant with your audience. If it is, then go for it.
How would we test? Like run a survey monkey, or run a survey?
If you have your ideal audience, just ask them. I mean, you don't have to ask thousands of people to get a general consensus. If you ask, a dozen or a couple dozen people that are the right target market, that your right audience, and they have a pretty solid consensus, then you have your answer.
Okay.
But that having something that no one else has, that if you Google it, you don't come up with 10 other people offering the same thing. That's what you're trying to do. And it's your thing, and it's the thing that you have that delivers the result. It's like the Garcinia cambogia in the diet pill. You guys know the reality to that. The Garcinia cambogia was the active ingredient in all the diet pills. But it wasn't until they all got cutthroat and it was a price war, and somebody finally came out and said, that our diet pill works because it has Garcinia cambogia in it. And it wasn't until they threw that unique mechanism out that people believed it. People had tried the pills, they knew they didn't work. So until the ad campaign ran that, this diet pill has Garcinia cambogia, they sold the crap out of that thing almost overnight because of that campaign, just because they added a unique mechanism to it. The truth of it was all the diet pills had the Garcinia cambogia in it. They just didn't say it. And then everybody started jumping on the bandwagon. And then all of a sudden, everybody had Garcinia cambogia, right? So what they did was they expanded on it. They expanded the unique mechanism. This is something that's going to happen. If you do well in marketing, you're going to get copied. People are going to knock you off to try and compete, try and stay up. They don't want to lose out. They're going to be biting on your coattails. So when you're creating your unique mechanism, leave room for improvement. So the expansion on Garcinia cambogia was, well, our Garcinia cambogia is different because it comes out of the rainforest of the yada yada, and it's nurtured by the yucca yucca bird. You know, whatever it might be, it can be absolutely ridiculous, but it's different. And it's the thing that makes people believe you've got what they need, is having that unique mechanism. You know, the next expansion of that was, you know, our Garcinia cambogia is cold pressed. We don't cook the active ingredients out of it. That's why the rest of them don't work. You know, so leave room for improvement on whatever your unique mechanism is. So when people do knock you off, you can go ahead and outpace them. If you take it all the way to the wall and you got nothing left, you got nowhere to go. So think about it as a chess game, and you're thinking multiple moves ahead. So hopefully that makes sense. I know it brings another layer of complexity into this already difficult game. But like I've always said, it's very simple but hard to implement. All right. Anything else before we wrap up here? All right, guys. Well, have a
Sorry, John, to interrupt, but reminder for next week that we talked about at our session.
Yes, we're going to move up to Wednesday because Thursday is gobble gobble day. So I don't want to get in the way of you and a turkey. That's dangerous territory. So we're going to move up to Wednesday, and we will be on. Hopefully you guys will be ready for Black Friday, and have a great week, and we will see you then.
Wednesday, 11 a.m. All ashore. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're all
Bye.
amazing.
Great
Thank you,
session.
John.
Thank you.